G'day everybody, welcome to the podcast. We've got Killer Kitt Campbell here, the man no one can stand with at the moment. How are you, brother?
Good, bro. Good.
Yeah, you're just coming off one fight, got another one coming up.
Yeah, we've got a big one coming up. Taking on JJ Ambrose, guy out of America. He's the number one guy out of America, number one in Australia at the moment too. So
Really?
big fight, yeah.
Where's it going to be?
In Melbourne Pavilion, HEX Fight Series, main event. So
what kind of a fighter is he?
He's more of a grappler. He's well rounded. He's had over 40 fights, so he's got the experience behind him too. But they're the fights that we want to be taking right now. So
what's the thinking with taking fights with grapplers?
Well, obviously you got to be prepared for everything.
Yeah.
I'd like to stand up and bang with him because that's my forte. But we're going to be prepared for everything with JJ. As we learned from the last fight, it's not always going to work out how you want it. JJ is going to come in with a solid game plan. He's seen where he can beat me. He's obviously watched my last fight, so that's just how it's going to be. He's going to be very well rounded, so we're going to be prepared for everything.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm really, really excited for this next fight. And I was at your last fight as well, and unfortunately, you didn't really get to show your stand-up skills as well. Because if anybody goes on YouTube, pause this shit, go on YouTube, watch Kitt Campbell's highlights. Man, your stand-up is outstanding. Been knocking people out left, right, and center. Do you reckon you'll try and exhibit more of that, or do you reckon you'll?
100%. That's what I want to do. But as I was saying, I'm going to be prepared for everything. If he wants to shoot on me, then I'll grapple my way out of it, keep it back on the feet. So, like I said, just going to be prepared for everything. We learned from the last one. Obviously, their game plan was to get me down, hold me down. And they played that very, very well.
Yeah.
Izzy Fidikefu, strong guy, very strong guy. So
he fights out of Whitaker's camp.
Yeah, he's out of Whitaker's camp. So he comes from a good camp, and that would have been their game plan, to get me down and keep me down. He didn't want to stand up with me. So
no,
which, as sad as it is, I would have loved to show my skills a bit more, but good on Izzy for doing the job properly.
And good on you for fighting all of the best guys you can possibly fight.
Well,
because these guys are like the top. These guys are the champions of their.
That's what I'm here for. If I want to take it to the next level, say UFC, the bigger organizations, I'm not going to be getting easy fights there. So
yeah.
Why would I take easy fights now if that's where I want to be heading? I want to be ready for it. So.
That's good, man. Well, it's awesome that you're not trying to pad your record. You're going for the big fights. You've got that self-belief. You're fighting under Tosca Petridis, who's an absolute animal. He's just a fucking weapon. we know Tosca well. Tell us what it's like fighting under him, man. Because he's a former. For those of you who won't know, he's a former world champion kickboxer. He's under the Paul Fifield, Bob Jones type lineage of all those fucking nutcases.
Nah, man, Tosca's awesome. He's more than a coach for me. He's like a father to me. I really look up to him in ways of fighting, not so much outside of the fight game. He's a menace that way. But nah, man, training with Tosca, I couldn't ask for anyone better. He understands it better than anyone in the stand-up. And you know what? His MMA understanding is very good too. So I couldn't ask for anyone better to train with. Just old school, like it's hard to find these days. Those old school strikers, they've got a wealth of knowledge, and it's different to the modern day sort of striking. He likes to keep things very simple, but work on the basics. We get our basics down pat, and that's what wins your fights. That's what works.
Working on your strengths.
Just little things here and there that he'll tell me, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that works. And it's only basic, but it's the stuff that wins your fights. And on top of the technique side of things, he trains like a madman. Tosca. If you don't have your hand up, he's going to hit you. He will hit you full pelt. So it makes you tougher. It really does.
Those guys, they're all like that, and I'm fascinated by the way that they train. Because I had George Zachariah, if you know him. Zach, he's one of the other old school guys, and they were telling how they used to train like bare knuckle back in the day at the dojos, like sparring bare knuckle.
And that comes from Paul Fifield as well.
Yeah.
He's a weapon as well, Paul.
Dude.
For his age too now, he's still a weapon. And guys like Jimmy Crute's coach, Sammy Greco and stuff, Tosca, all those old guys. They all you got to do is YouTube them, and you see the difference. Like back in the K1 days, they were tough.
Yeah,
they can throw leg kicks without worried about getting checked or anything. kick the hell out of each other.
Yeah. And what's it like training under that? Do you feel like that you have an advantage in terms of your, like, how hard you train?
It helps with my confidence because I'll go for a session with Tosca and I'll leave and I won't think to myself, have I done enough? Have I done this? Have I done that? I know that I've done enough because I know that the sort of training I get with him, I'm not going to be able to get anywhere else, especially with the stand-up, you know. He really pushes me. And like I said, if this hand's down a little bit lower, you're gonna cop a hook or whatever. So it teaches you to keep your hands up the whole time. If I'm only bringing the punch out to about there, you'll stop me and say, you got to bring it out there. That little bit extra. Every time you'll stop and let me know what I'm doing wrong. And after a while, that builds a sort of thing in the back of the mind that you start doing everything right and it just comes out naturally, you know. If you're doing that every single day, perfecting yourself, doing this, doing that, it just comes natural after a while.
That's awesome. But in terms of training with a guy like Tosca, he has this mental fortitude, right? Like I remember Paul Fifield telling me a story on the podcast of before Tosca would fight, he would break out with a rash a few weeks before the fight. And then Paul would say, like, what is that? And Tosca, and it would kind of be like his nerves type thing. But Paul said that it was because he knew that Tosca knew that he would never give up. So every time that he'd go into a fight, it was like you know, that they live and die by it, you know.
And that's why I think we get along so well, because I remind him a lot of how he was when he was around my age and when he was at this point in the career that I'm sort of in my career now. So, you know, that makes that bond stronger. You know, he, like I said, he's a father figure to me. I suppose I'd be sort of like a son figure to him, you know. So,
do you take a lot from his from his mental side of things as well?
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, kill or be killed. That's what it's like. Yeah, you know, they're just and that comes through experience, through fighting the guys that he's fought, and obviously being around people like Paul. Like his coach was a savage. My coach is a savage. So,
right. Yeah. And how did it all start for you, man? When did you get the bug?
So I picked it up. Well, I started judo. How old was I? About 13 or 14. My dad got me into judo. He was a judo player back in Scotland. So yeah, I started with judo, started competing pretty heavily with judo, doing all the international tournaments around Australia and stuff. From there, moved into a bit of wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and then slowly started my striking. So I didn't start striking until I was about 18 or 19.
Is that right?
The only thing I really knew before that was fights on the street or just backyard bloody messing around with mates and that. So I only really started when I was 18, 19. And after a year of doing a little bit of striking and then I went straight into MMA. I just went straight pro. I didn't bother about amateurs because back then the amateur scene wasn't that strong, you know, not like how it is now.
Right.
I'd tell people now to go through the amateurs because there's such a big scene in amateur now. It's really worth doing before you step into pro. But, you know, back then there wasn't that big of a scene for the amateurs. So I just went straight in pro and, yeah, I won that first fight in 52 seconds, I think it was, and just haven't looked back since.
So when you were doing judo, were you training with different people? And then when you still wanted to do the stand-up, did you get a hold of Tosca yourself?
So I was training, when we're doing the judo, it was with a group of pretty much the best guys in Australia doing judo. Not many of them did MMA. And I've been training with Tosca for 3 years now. So before that, I just did a bit of striking with Jose Lopez, his name was. And then, yeah, so from there, that's just when I went into pro MMA. I didn't do as much judo as I used to. I sort of dropped out from the judo because there's not much money in the judo, you know. And then I caught the bug for MMA. And you got to pretty much choose what you want to put all your time and effort into. You know, MMA requires a lot of time and effort. So I decided to put all my eggs into that one basket.
Normally, like the natural progression for someone to get into MMA is to start with one thing.
That's right.
Sort of gradually, as you said, do wrestling.
Yeah.
Is there much of a wrestling scene in Australia?
It's
massive in America.
It's massive in America. Yeah, they do it all throughout college and stuff. But there's still a decent scene in Australia. Obviously not as big as other countries, but still a decent scene. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is massive here now. So, you know, it's slowly building up in Australia. I mean, the MMA scene's taken off too. So
you often see that the wrestlers are excelling a lot.
Yeah.
Like you see Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington are fighting on the main event soon. John Jones is an amazing wrestler, but he uses his stand-up a lot.
Yeah.
Henry Cejudo, Olympic wrestler, he's double champion. These guys are really doing well. Do you think that that's the most damaging discipline?
At the end of the day, I'd say it would be, because wrestlers, I mean, you got to be mentally tough to wrestle, and these guys have been doing it ever since.
Is that because of all the injuries and stuff?
Not so much injuries. I mean, if you were to wrestle yourself, you'd know, like, you'd understand what I mean. Like, I'm sure you've wrestled with someone before, and like even just playing around.
Yeah, just
you get tired as fuck.
We actually we were doing sparring, and then at the end of the round, Christian Enor made us do like just wrestling, just like sort of pushing each other around
and stuff.
I was fucked.
Yeah. It's hard work. Wrestling's tough. So to be good at wrestling, I mean, Kamaru Usman and guys like you just mentioned, they did well in their college years. You know, they would have been wrestling champions, whatever. I'm not sure what exactly they would have won. But to take that sort of dedication and mental toughness that they've learned from the wrestling into their MMA, then they're going to have it above people, you know?
Yeah.
I think wrestling, is probably one of the best bases you can have. Judo's very good too. Judo's awesome. But then you see guys that awesome wrestlers, but they can't strike. So if you can't rely on your wrestling in the fight and you're getting whacked around in the face, and you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, totally, man. You kind of saw that a little bit with Ben Askren getting knocked out by Jorge Masvidal with that gigantic knee.
That's right. I mean, Ben's come across from ONE FC, and which is funny because, you know, ONE FC being over in Asia and that, a lot of the Asian guys, their background is striking. Their background's striking, and now he's come across to UFC and he hasn't done too well. But in ONE FC, I'm not sure. I don't think he fought too many of the Asian guys. I think it was more American styles.
He fought Lima at one stage, and that was a pretty big feather in his cap.
Yeah.
And that's what sort of a few of those guys earned him a big reputation. But you see that it's just probably next level in the UFC.
Well, what I've learned, I mean, a loss sucks, but at the end of the day, they're lessons as well. You've got to pay attention to everything. It's mixed martial arts. You have to give just every single aspect of it your full attention. Can't leave one bit out, you know. I thought I'll be able to go in there and strike with Izzy, you know. He just want to strike with me. He's knocked out all these guys. He's going to be happy to strike. The first thing he does is take me down.
And that's the way
the way the whole fight went, you know. He didn't pass my guard. He just laid in me guard the whole time, just peppering away. He didn't do any damage. I was fine after the fight. No injuries, nothing. But that's how he knew he'd win the fight. So you got to be ready for everything. It's mixed martial arts. You can't leave anything out. And that's a lesson for me, and that's going to help us moving forward, you know.
Well, when I see fights like that, it's very reminiscent of like someone fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
They know that that's what he does, right? He just goes in, and even though they know that it's going to happen, it's so hard to stop because wrestling is such a damaging discipline, as we're talking about. And if somebody is as high level as that, and if that's all that they school, and then you've got other guys who are more well-rounded, then it's very difficult to make a real fight out of it, hey?
Yeah, 100%. So that's, like I said, man, that's why you got to pay attention to every sort of aspect of mixed martial arts if you're training.
I'm making you sound like a broken record. So you're training down at Resilience.
Yeah.
You've got Daniel Kelly down there, Jimmy Crute, Ben Sassoli, Jakey Matthews comes down for sparring as well, doesn't he?
Callum Potter.
A
lot of good guys down there.
Man, that is seriously, it does not get much better than that.
Yeah, well, I mean, all those guys you just mentioned are signed to the UFC now. So back in the day, you would have got told to travel, go over to Thailand, whatever, do your camp in Thailand, America and stuff. But we don't have to anymore. We can just do it here in our backyard. So it's awesome.
You've got guys like Dan Kelly and Sam Greco teaching you guys, and, you know, Tosca as well. And it's fucking awesome, dude. It's so good to see for Australian MMA fans to see like the crop of fighters that are coming out of places like Resilience.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, on the Friday sessions, man, you have Tosca on the side yelling at me and the others, and then Sammy as well, and Daniel Kelly. I mean, they're three of the best to come out of Australia, you know.
All world champions in their own regard.
That's right. I mean, Daniel Kelly's a 5-time Olympian. Went to UFC, did well in the UFC.
Absolutely,
Beat Rashad Evans. Beat a lot of good guys. And then Tosca, 7 times world champion. Sammy Greco, K1 champion. You know, he did really well. So you can't really ask for more than that. It's pretty good. It's awesome.
One of the things that's quite interesting is the common denominator between the 4 guys, Daniel Kelly, Jake Matthews, Jimmy Crute, Ben Sassoli, is that they've all come, their natural progression has been through the local scene and then into either Dana White's Contender Series or the Ultimate Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter.
So do you see your progression going in that way as well? And would you be putting your hand up for an opportunity in that regard?
I don't try and think about it too much. I'll take it fight by fight, and just fight the best guys possible. That's why we got JJ Ambrose. I mean, perfect world, beat JJ Ambrose, get a call up somewhere. I don't know. It could be Dana White's Contender Series, could be straight into the UFC. Who knows? I'm not going to try to think about it too much. All my focus is going to be on JJ. Get the win, take it from there.
I guess you have to do that. Hey?
You have to. Otherwise, you get your hopes up. Doesn't happen. You feel like shit. This, that. You know.
Yeah.
You got to have a goal. You got to have a goal. Obviously, my goal is UFC. I don't want to try to think about how I'm going to get there, how it's going to happen, how this is going to happen. I'll just let it happen. I've got trust, and I mean, it's corny. You hear the saying, "Trust the process." It's very true. You got to trust the process.
No, I'm a big believer in that. You've got to sort of believe the path that you're on.
You have to believe in the path that you're on. You have to believe. Everyone's path's different. You know what I've suffered from in the past is seeing someone get signed. It's like, you know, why aren't I there? You know, I've put in this amount of work, this and that. Well, his path's different to mine. You know, I'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say are your sort of biggest strengths as a fighter?
I like to say I rock up train like an animal. Mentally, I'm strong. I don't know. I like grinding people out. I like getting in there, having that presence over them, seeing them break, and then putting it on them. I love fighting. I love KOing people. You know, like. I just love everything about it. Yeah. I don't like laying on my back though. That's the only thing. I don't like getting taken down and getting held down, you know. So but if that's how the people are going to win the fight, then that's what they're going to do. And
you said it's like high level problem solving.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And when you're solving a problem like a guy who's just going to get you down, it's very difficult. Yeah. But it's something that you've got to sort of think about it as a fighter. And Is there a, like, when you were in your corner, what was Tosca telling you between rounds?
Tosca always tells me, as soon as he hits the ground, get back up, hit him, get back up, get back up, get back up. That's what he was saying, but nothing was really processing for me through there. I mean, he felt so heavy on the ground. I mean, that was really 100% their game plan, was to get me down, just to hold me down. And that's what he did well. I mean, I was a welterweight coming up to middleweight. I couldn't get a fight at welterweight. I was calling everyone out. Yeah,
I saw that post that you made.
I was calling everyone out, man. I was messaging them on their social medias. Everything. We couldn't get a fight at welterweight, so I'll step up to middleweight, and fight the champ. Yeah, and that's what I did. I'm not scared to fight anyone. So, I mean, he was a heavy dude. You know, as soon as I felt him on top, I was like, we're in for a long night here. And I was trying to get up, but he was just doing so well. As soon as I'd move to get up, he'd grab an arm, pull me back down, just lay on top of me. But like I said, he didn't pass my guard. He just laid in my guard the whole time, just peppering away. But
but that's what's going on. I watched his last fight before that as well, and he fought Josh Della. Yeah. And I actually know those guys, Josh and Jack Della, those brothers.
Della brothers.
Yeah, Jack Della got a really good win that night as well.
Yeah.
And it was similar sort of story. You just beat him up from the top. But have you seen much of those boys, the Della boys?
I was meant to fight Jack for my debut on HEX 2 years ago, but he pulled out.
Oh, really?
That's all I know of him.
Yeah. I think the guy who Jack fought was sparring at your gym, Giuseppe.
Giuseppe.
French guy?
I've never sparred with him. I think the boys said that he came down once and didn't come back or something. I don't know what the go with him is, but I know who he is.
It must be like pretty hardcore. Like I was speaking to Jim Crute on the podcast when we called you out, and he was saying that, you know, you guys spar hard, and a lot of people don't last. A lot
Yeah.
of people come down, they don't come back.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to spar hard and train hard to get the results, you know. A lot of people can't handle that. Yeah, you're not wrong. A lot of people scares them off. I mean, you'll see me and Jimmy spar or me and Jake spar, and it's like we're fighting each other. We treat it like we're fighting each other. But at the same time, we're smart too. Don't take it overboard. But that's how you got to train. You got to train like you're going to fight. So.
And do you enjoy that part of things?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love that aspect of it.
Do you get like nerves with sparring and?
Yeah. I'd say everyone would get nerves. I wouldn't. I'm not one to say, I don't get nerves. I don't feel this. Don't get that. You get nerves. You get excited. You get. I don't know. It's like going in before a fight. You're gonna get nerves. I spewed up before my fight last time. You know,
Really?
I get nervous.
Yeah.
I get scared. I get nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
And when you're fighting, in sparring with guys like that, do you find that the different skill sets really help you to sort of develop and work on your things as well?
Yeah. So what I reckon I did wrong in my last camp was I didn't get down to resilience enough. We had in our head that hopefully he stands up with us, you know, we're going to just stand up. But this time I've been down at resilience as much as I can. Every day of the week that they got sessions on, I'll be there. So I think that'll benefit my fight game as a whole. Like I said before, paying attention to every aspect of MMA instead of leaving out, maybe I won't have to grapple because hopefully he's going to stand up with me.
When you see like Jakey Matthews, he's been a really interesting one because he's the way like that he's progressed over his career so far. Because I follow him on Instagram, I see him doing a lot of weights and stuff, and he does look like since he's moved up to welterweight that he's quite a bit more top heavy now.
Well, I was talking with him the other day, and me and Jakey were both the same age, and we've known each other ever since we were 18, 19, been training together since then. And we were saying that as we're getting older, without even knowing it, we're filling out. It's like our bones are growing, we're getting denser, that sort of old man sort of strength. Right. Which is why I thought that the move to middleweight would do me well, because I thought that maybe I'm a bit more natural at middleweight now, but I'm still a natural, like I walk around at about 90 kilos, you know, so getting to welterweight for me is hard, but say for a guy like Izzy Fiti Kefu, I'd say he'd be coming down from 98 or 100. It's close to that. He was a big boy. So if I'm coming down to middleweight from 90, making 84, and you got someone coming down from 95 to 100, making 84, there's a big difference there. Whereas if I can still get to welterweight, I think that's still comfortable for me. So,
what's welterweight in kilos?
77 kilos.
77. Yeah. And would you be walking 90 now?
No. Now I'm about 86 and a half.
Yeah. So 86. You're trying to keep it off a little bit for the next fight.
Yeah. See, I mean, what do I want to be doing on the day? I want to be cutting about 3 kilos on the day, no more than 3.
Is that just sauna session, or is it just not eating and drinking for the day?
Well, yeah, you can't eat and drink on the day, and you got to stay in the sauna. But you can do the water load for the week. You know what water loading is. You try to drink, I don't know, about 5 to 6 liters of water a day, and you don't eat, and that makes you feel full. But when you train, it just flushes everything out. Yeah.
You don't eat for the week.
Yeah. Well, minimum stuff. I mean, crackers and tuna or whatever. Fruit. You can still have a bit of fruit, but.
And the water makes you feel full? The
water makes you feel full. It sort of just keeps you going. And then as soon as you train, it just flushes everything out. And it does work. It does work. Because when I fought for the title over in Perth against Vake, I flew in there on the Monday at 90 kilos. By the Thursday, I was 77.
Wow.
That was a big one. That was really big.
Is that very mentally challenging doing that?
Oh, shit, yeah. That's it's almost harder than the fight itself, getting down to the weight, especially if you're coming from... I won't do that again. I won't drop down from 90 again. It's very tough dropping down from that amount of weight.
And it can't really be very good for you either.
No. I mean, if you're doing that pretty regularly, it's not good for you in the long term. I felt all right during that fight. I didn't feel too tired or gassed or anything because, I mean, after you got 24 hours to replenish everything, so I was good to go. But,
what do you do? Do you just go out and just have a massive meal?
Just eat as much as you can, really, but try to keep it healthy still. I'm not going to be eating junk food. Just carbs,
still
just
stuff
as
that's
much
going to
carbs,
keep you energy.
protein, carbs, veggies, and everything. Just as much as you can eat. Sort of get back up. I mean, you're weighing at 77, be fighting at 86 or whatever.
Right.
Can almost put back 10 kilos on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was talking to Tai Tuivasa a few weeks ago, and he told me that he put on like 14 kilos or something overnight after one of his weigh-ins. But
yeah, man, that's what happens.
So what are you doing outside of the fighting, man? Do you have any other things going on?
Yeah, I got the family, missus, kid. She's got 3 kids as well, so it's a busy household. There's we just moved house, so yeah. Other than the fighting, it's just family stuff for me, really. Yeah, I mean, my hometown, I grew up on Phillip Island.
Oh, really?
So I like to shoot back down there every now and then. Yeah, other than the fighting.
Do you like your outdoors activities and stuff?
Yeah, as much as I can get outdoors, I'll get outdoors. But outside the fighting, it's really just family for me. You know,
it's pretty much it's got to be a lifestyle. Hey, like you guys have to dedicate so much.
Yeah, I mean, after you train, you don't really feel like doing too much. So it's good. Go home. I'll play with my daughter. You know, she's about 1 and 4 months. She's just started walking. So
awesome.
Yeah,
Man.
it's good. I'll go home, hang out with my daughter, do family stuff, a lot of work around the house and everything. Pick kids up from school, shopping.
Do you feel like having a daughter in your life, and having that sort of family environment gives you a different perspective?
Yeah, massive. I mean, it obviously gives you something to fight for. Before that, I was sort of like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And I always use that use my daughter, use my family to remind myself why I'm doing it. And I've got to do it. If I don't do this, then I can't put food on the table, you know?
You often hear that from fighters, like in press conferences and stuff. They're like, I think it was Jeremy Stevens the other day he was like, fuck that dude, man. Like, he's trying to take food off my family's table.
That's right. That's how you look at things, and it makes you a bit more of a savage, you know?
Yeah. Does that, when you see guys like that in the UFC, at the top of the UFC, I was just talking to River Daz before, who's a glory kickboxer, and he was saying that, like, oh man, that was once upon a time so unattainable. You just watch those guys on TV, and once you sort of start to get to that level, does it become a bit more real? Does it hit home a little bit?
Yeah, well, I'm not quite at that level yet.
But you're training with top guys.
I'm training with the top guys, but yeah, I mean, I'm training with guys that when I first started, I mean, guys like Daniel Kelly and Jake. Jake and Daniel, we started the first sort of training session at Resilience all together. And I mean, I'm even fighting guys that I once would have used to look up to. I mean, even JJ Ambrose, I got invited over to go do a camp with him. And I'm like, sweet, I just got invited to go do a camp with JJ Ambrose. Didn't end up happening because I'm a hard man to make plans.
Yeah, you are, bro.
But like even JJ, once upon a time, I wouldn't not look up to him, but admired what he'd done, you know? He's the top guy, and now I'm fighting him. So anything's possible.
Absolutely.
You know, you asked me 3 years ago, you're going to fight JJ Ambrose. I would have said, probably not. But now I am. And JJ's he's fought all over Bellator, Ultimate Fighter and everything, fought all over the world. So
and it'll be a good fight, attract a good crowd, lots of eyes on it.
That's right. And for me, it's almost like as good as a fight that I'm going to get in the UFC, you know, if not better. It's one of the top guys that could be in the UFC. Yeah,
that's going to be an epic one, man. And and obviously with the guys that you're training with as well, Daniel Kelly's another big one who you get to surround yourself with. And we were just talking before he beat, Sugar Rashad Evans, and Rashad Evans is a Hall of Famer. He was on The Ultimate Fighter as well, as you said, 5-time Olympian. This guy is someone who's got an incredible wealth of knowledge. What's it like training with him, and how can you sort of give us an insight into his character?
Well, even this morning, I made a mistake, got taken down, and he's on my back the whole time. You got to get back up, blah, 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 do this, do that. And just having that there is awesome. Someone on the side saying, you got to do this, you got to do that. And that gets stuck in your mind. So the next time I'm in that position, I'll remember him saying that. And it helps. If I already knew how to do it, whatever, it's just like a reminder. Like, oh yeah, that's what I got to do to get out of here. That's what I got to do. And then they'll all pull me off to the side after the session and say, and will drill, drill things that needs to work on. So you're getting lots of help down there, and it's awesome. It's really cool to see guys come together and help each other out like that, you know.
And when he was having that incredible run in the UFC where he was winning all these fights and beat Rashad Evans, and what was that like for you as a spectator, as somebody who knew him as well? And did it motivate you a lot to?
I remember, I think it was his first AFC fight. He fought Fabio Galeb, and man, that was tough. That went the distance, and he ended up getting that win. Like that, if you go on YouTube and his first AFC fight, I think it's Fabio Galeb, Daniel Kelly versus Fabio Galeb. And just seeing how tough he was in that, his technique with his striking and stuff, it doesn't look like much, but it's just his toughness and his will to win that gets him by, you know. He's fought some big guys in the UFC, a lot of big names and stuff, and he's beaten them. No one thought that he could have beaten them, but he believed that he could have beaten them, you know. This is a guy that hasn't been gifted with flashy skills, anything like that. He's just been gifted with heart to never stop and strong mind.
Wow. It's so cool, man.
Beating Rashad Evans, you know?
Yeah, and it kind of seemed like when that was happening, whenever I'd watch the fights with Daniel Kelly, I'd be like, he's still going at it. It's like almost like they were trying to kill him off type thing. And they were trying to give him the guy, but he just kept winning. Yeah. And it was like...
And he became a fan favourite just through doing that, being Daniel Kelly, being the old man that doesn't give up.
Kind of like the guy next door as well. Do you know what I mean? That's like kind of what he looks like.
You really got to knock the guy out to beat him.
Yeah, and it was just an amazing story. And you know, as we talked about before, Jake Matthews, I think he's won 5 out of his last 6 as well.
He got signed when he was 19 or 20 after the Ultimate Fighter. And
your Ultimate Fighter Canada Australia thing.
He's had 11, 12 UFC fights now. It's a pretty good career to have by the time you're 25.
So you're 25 as well.
I'm 25 as well. Yeah.
Man, so young.
Yeah, we're still young. We still got time.
Got time. And Jimmy's 23.
Yeah, he's young too.
So you guys have how old Ben Sassoli?
I think he's a bit older than he's 27, 28 maybe.
Have you been on the receiving end of many of those big overhand lefts or the spinning back kicks?
I've sparred Ben a few times. I keep him at a distance. I'll chop him apart with my kicks and that. I don't let him come in too close.
Yeah, man, fair enough. What does like a regular training sort of week look like for you?
Well, we're twice a day. Today, this morning, we're Monday now, so just down at Resilience this morning. If I wasn't coming here, I'd go straight to Tosca's, do a session. So he's angry at you because you stuffed up our
fuck.
day.
I'm hiding in the toilets when he comes to the gym. I'm hiding in the toilets when he comes to the gym.
So yeah, after here I'll go. I'll still go past Tosca's. If I don't go past Tosca's, I'll run tonight. But we'll make sure we can get at least 2 to 3 sessions a day. That's a good day for us. Tomorrow I'll be in Tosca's in the morning and then wrestling in the night.
Put in a good word for me.
I will. So yeah, 2 sessions a day, 6 days a week, Sunday off.
Yeah. So Sunday, what do? You just sort of chill out with the family.
Yeah, just whatever's on. If there's a bit of UFC on, I watch some UFC.
Yeah.
I live if I'm not training, my lifestyle's still pretty busy. I've always got things going on, family-wise or whatever's going on. So
yeah,
I'll just take it as it comes, man.
Yeah, plenty to keep you busy though, mate. You got your hands full in a big way.
Yeah.
And training for this next fight as we met. Well, man, we're so excited to see you, and you're gonna have all of FightFit behind you for sure.
Yeah.
Just so that everybody knows, you want to let everybody know where they can find you on social media and all that sort of stuff.
Killer Campbell on Instagram and Kitt Killer Campbell on Facebook. I'm not the biggest presence on social media, but I try my best. And yeah, the fight's December 13th, Friday, December 13th, Melbourne Pavilion, HEX Fight Series will be the main event.
Awesome, guys. So if you can get tickets, get down. I went to the last event that you did at Melbourne Pavilion. It was an unbelievable night. Please go and support your local fighters, guys. Go and support your local shows, because this is, if you're a UFC fan, this is how we get our guys to be noticed on the big stages, when everyone gives them a shout out, shows them love, and goes and watches their fights and shows the support to the local scene. So thank you so much, brother. You are awesome. The man. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for listening, guys. Cheers. Thank you.